So what does an environmental consulting firm and a disaster restoration company have in common? Well, it's winning, of course. 2009 may have been a turbulent year for some, but for the Whitby Chamber of Commerce, they were able to celebrate success with two of their local companies and members. I'm excited to have with us Shawn Williamson, owner of the Baleen Group and winner of the Environmental Award at the Whitby Chamber of Commerce, as well as Ian McCutcheons from Service Masters, winners of the Business Excellence Award. Joining them is the new president of the Whitby Chamber of Commerce, is Rob Fraser. So great to have you all here. Yeah. Shawn, I wanted to start with yourself. You know, the Whitby Chamber of Commerce is known for, you know, their kind of, award-winning, celebration and on that evening. And I know it's a pretty amazing event. But I wanted to ask you a question. I mean, what it must have felt. I did have the opportunity to see your speech and, obviously saw your joy and everything like that. But it must feel pretty neat. And what was your feelings of accepting an award that was given to you by your peers within an industry? What was that like?
It was great. A little overwhelming. There was an actual standing ovation there, and I think that's probably the first standing ovation I've gotten in a long, long time, if ever.
One more than I have. That's pretty good.
There you go. But it was heartening, and I guess probably the big thing is sometimes when it's something that you feel very passionate about, and this is something that I feel very passionate about. It's the old saying, do what you would do if you weren't even getting paid for it.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling my clients that we want to go that route by any means, but it's something that I feel firmly about. I found that I'm good at it, and it's when it's something you like and something that you're good at, well, then you're going to be happy at your job, and that's one of the key messages that I have is I guess I found my happy place.
Yeah, well, it's why you're a winner. I can tell you that. I mean, watching your speech, I was moved too. Just saying, here's a guy who's found his niche, his passion, and it really came through. So I think it's great that to see you be a winner. Now, just help me understand and help some of our audience understand what exactly is the Baleen Group, and help me understand how what that company does.
Sure. Baleen Group's my company. I'm a partner there. We're an environmental consulting firm. I come at it from a business background. I am a business guy from the very beginning. So coming out of grad school, I worked probably about 10 years in what I would call just the straight up business world. I always had a personal passion for environmental matters. And I started doing some programs on the volunteer side as well as my own work that kind of got me into the area where I was like, hey, this is something, I see an opportunity there, I see a demand and a market for it, and all things being equal, if I can do my work while doing this and enjoying it a lot more, then why not? So what I do with companies is very much I take a business-oriented approach. They're trying to achieve sustainable solutions across any wide gambit of number of things, and I help them do that. So I help them identify what the real problems are. I help them build their teams internally, training, education. I guess I also try and sort of practice what I preach, a lot of what I've done in my home. I get invited to talk about that as well. And, I basically just enjoy what I do.
Your home is just a great story in and of itself. That'll be a whole segment with photos. It's a pretty remarkable thing. But you do live, you practice what you preach, so to speak. So some of the skill sets to help the people out there growing their own companies and things. But, when you're looking at your services, and, I mean, we're looking here, we're all service-based businesses. And, how do you go about selling those services? To what skill sets or what piece of advice would you offer to the business owner, the would-be entrepreneur out there right now?
It's really, as both the other guys said, it's really about making those networks. And I look at, my client list. It's not tremendously long, and it really is sort of a Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation kind of thing, in that most of the people I've got repeat clients now, and I'm working with them as they've moved on to different jobs. So it is really getting that network and also building that out. And I guess the other thing too is, a term I use is karma points. If somebody comes to you and they look for help, don't just push them off. That guy doesn't even have a job. Of what use is he to me? Well, that guy that you help, even just make one phone call for him today, he's going to be the guy who's going to be hiring you in the future, and that's going to pay back, 100-fold.
Yeah.
So it really is, get out there, say hi to people, be nice, get involved with associations like this. Social media is a great way of doing that right now with tools like LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook, which I know the Chamber is starting to use more and more. Those are all great tools, but then they're also, you really can't beat the value of a good old meeting somebody for a Tim Hortons coffee.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, the value of the relationship, there's a common phrase, revenue is in the relationships, and I think that face-to-face, so fantastic advice. Thanks for that. Shawn, a piece of advice you can, I mean, I love your stories about, how many recycling bins, actually, how many recycling bins do you have in your home?
probably about 35, 40.
35, 40. So quickly, what's the one piece of advice from an environmental perspective that people can do in their homes today to kind of help to the cause of the environmental side?
Well, you know, one quick thing to do is really look at the waste that's going out. You know, key message is that waste it's not a noun, it's a verb. So you got to waste something before you create waste. So take a look at the waste that you're creating and then take it back a step. You'll find that a lot of that stuff you paid good money for probably not more than a couple of weeks ago. So, you know, business is all about growing revenue and cutting costs. Eliminating waste does both of those things.
And how many bags of garbage you put out each year?
For '09, we did just under 1.2.
That's amazing. Wow. I love it. And so great information to pass on to our viewers.
If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions about anything you see on Business Today, contact host Todd Skinner at rogerstv.com. You can also leave your comments at 905-436-3500 or 1-800-939-7787. We might use your comments on a future episode of Business Today.